in the yesterday we had discussed about the uh, Tor mechanism by which you can access the websites from the exit node. Today we will be now focusing on the location hidden services. So the websites or any service is being managed by somebody who is also want to remain anonymous. So this he will be essentially going to also have an onion proxy with him, and the basic idea is that he will also create a telescopic extension or telescopic Tor extension circuit to some intermediate node which we call rendezvous node or rendezvous peer, and same thing will be done by the guy who is actually also asking for the service. So they essentially will be connected by the rendezvous node, which will be randomly picked up by the service seeker, and then they will be talking in an encrypted fashion. And because both have created a telescopic extension, neither the service seeker and nor the service provider will be aware of each other, and of course anybody else in the network will also not be aware of each other, actually these two guys, and what they are actually doing. And these are the websites are known as onion websites typically, and the services which can be provided in this thing will be typically you can have telnet or SSH to a remote server done through this, so that neither you are knowing who is accessing it and neither guy who is accessing it knows that whom he is accessing. Okay, so IP addresses will not be able to identify, but you can still do mutual identification in your payload which you are exchanging with each other. You can do mail, you can do messaging. Onion websites are anyway very common. You might have tried using them once in a while. Okay, and they are very difficult to catch. Even with these leaky circuits being now implemented, it's almost impossible to even do traffic profiling and find out which are the two pairs who are talking to each other. And remember, leaky circuits now can be used by both ends. So now only thing is that these are going to be TCP based service. Even if you want UDP can be actually transported inside TCP actually. But the intermediaries to the source or destination, so two onion routers will be talking to each other through TCP connection. Okay, so this is ultimate anonymity which we can talk about. So we take a case where the Bob is going to be providing the location service, location hidden service actually we should call it. So pardon me for that, it has to be location hidden service, and it need to advertise several onion routers. It will pick a few of the onion routers from the list which it can get from directory servers. Okay, and this will be, he will be saying these are going to my introduction points. So this is where kind of the front end where people can come and approach to connect to him actually. So these are called introduction points. So now what happens, these introduction points have to be listed in a DHT based lookup. So this will not be done on directory server, it will be DHT based lookup. So the key will be there. So key normally will be onion a public IP. Okay, it's not going to be private one, it's a public. So private keys correspondingly is going to be held by the Bob. Is a public key, sorry, not private, public IP. It's a public key which will be the address essentially. So key will be that public key and the value will be the list of introduction points. And this will be signed by the corresponding private key. So this is authenticated updates of all introduction point list which will be maintained in DHT. So you want to access a certain website, onion website, you will be now from that website URI. So it's actually a string.onion. So I will talk about that. So from there you will get the public key. You will now search in the DHT and will find out which are the introduction point list which is there. Okay, you can actually even, this can be put in directory services also, but then to directory services this has to be published through again a mechanism of telescopic extension, telescopic circuit. Through that only it should be updated, so that the IP address of the guy who's hosting the website should not be known to even to directory server. But it's better to do it through DHT. That's a better way of handling it, because you are only publishing, you don't know who the guy actually is the other side, because source address is not there, you are just publishing, that's it. Okay, And remember, for every service there will be a separate public IP. This need not be the node ID. Okay, so the introduction point will be having a connection, a telescopic circuit through which the information can go back to the Bob, but Bob's IP address or Bob's node ID will not be known to anybody. So Alice will choose another onion router. We call it a rendezvous point. Okay, this is what I talked in the beginning, and we'll connect to this rendezvous point. Will create a telescopic extension to that, and it will then connect to the introduction point. Now, again, to the introduction point will be through a telescopic extension. So instead of exit node, the last node will be the introduction point where the things will exit, and there itself you will be actually telling that I need to connect. I am sending you a request for connection to this particular public key, which is you found from the DHT. So that's basically a onion website or onion service address, and the Bob will essentially will have a tunnel there, and this will be going all the way to the rendezvous point will be informed to Bob, and now it will wait for the Bob to connect to the rendezvous point. So remember, Alice has also done a telescopic extension, a telescopic circuit to the rendezvous point. Now, what happens is when the Bob is will get all the information. Now Bob will know about the rendezvous point. So it's not the introduction point is anymore not required. This is only for getting connected to the service seeker. After that, the Bob is supposed to figure out a mechanism if it wants to connect to the Alice or not. And based on that, it will connect to the rendezvous point again through a telescopic circuit. So the anonymity is maintained. And then there will be some kind of a handshake which has to happen. I will talk about that, how that is done. So they have a Diffie-Hellman handshake mechanism there again. So that end-to-end encryption is being maintained. And now introduction point is technically now being protected legally because it's not providing any service. You are just getting connected through it. It's a rendezvous point which is being used to pipe or basically connect the two channels or two pipes which are coming from two different endpoints. Okay, so introduction point can never be put into a legal problem for serving illegal or unpopular content because it's not doing it actually. Okay, and anyway, it's difficult to put somebody a blame on that. But because remember, when you are looking from DHT for a certain website, you get the node ID of the introduction point, and once you have the node ID, you actually can catch him. See, that's a problem. So that's why this guy has to be saved. So the saving is done through indirection process. So now Bob can also, another advantage of this indirection is that Bob can selectively choose whom to respond. So if he figures out something is coming from somewhere else, he is having doubt, he may not even respond back to you. But normally you do get response back when you are using your Tor browser. Okay. So the process which is followed is, and this will be initiated by the onion proxies of the Alice and Bob. So Bob will generate a long-term public key pair to identify his services. Okay, and all the location hidden services will actually use a top virtual domain which will be .onion, and the host name normally will be encoded as x.y.onion. Normally x is not there. There is no authorization cookie. You normally have the hash of the public key .onion, which is actually going to be used. Okay. So for connecting to this service, you will find out the root of this hash of the key, which has been given. This is y in the DHT thing. And from there, you will get the list of public keys and corresponding introduction points. So that is essentially what is going to be used for connecting to the Bob. That's what the Alice is going to do. Now Bob will publish, once he has already published all this stuff, his service identifier key and list of selected introduction point will be done to the either at the directory server as I mentioned, or in the DHT. Normally it's a DHT which is preferred, and that's what is implemented in the Tor implementation. Now Bob can at any point of time can actually add more number of introduction points. That is also feasible. And Bob will build up the circuit to each of the introduction points. The green thing is the telescopic, the created circuits. So they actually ensure the anonymity is going to be there. This is very same as I discussed yesterday. And this is a root node where the hash of the public key, which is identifying the service, a service key, not the node, remember, which is being stored. So key and list of introduction point will be put here. And the green ones I am always going to green color I am using for telescopically constructed onion tunnels. Okay, that's a Tor tunnel basically. Now Alice will learn about Bob service. Now this has to be done through out of band. So maybe some friend will tell, or you will find out on some normal website. That's how you get to know of the onion websites. There is no other way you can figure out actually. So they have to be with some index. Somebody must have published that. And so Alice will now retrieve the details of this service from this DHT lookup service. Okay. And even this lookup service which you are getting through DHT should also be accessed through torrent, basically through again onion tunnel or telescopic onion tunnel should be used again for this purpose. Now Alice will choose one of the onion routers as the rendezvous point. It can be anything, whatever she picks up. Okay, an intermediary for, and this rendezvous point is what is basically being used to connect to Bob, not the introduction point. Now Alice will build up a circuit to this rendezvous point. It will also generate a randomly generated cookie. We call it a rendezvous cookie, which will be given to rendezvous point. Will now hold on to this. Now same cookie has to be given to Bob. So at the when Bob will make the connection, it will present that, and the matching will happen, and based on that circuits will be connected to each other. So essentially creating anonymous tunnel between service seeker and provider both. So now this is the way it is going to happen. So Alice will create will go into this DHT. Again, this is through a Tor tunnel, and will get the information about the Bob service. It will at that point of time also will find out another OR, as I told, which will be called rendezvous point, and will create a Tor tunnel all the way to here. A rendezvous cookie will be placed here actually as of now. Okay, so that Bob can be identified. So Bob will also present the same. Now Alice will now open an anonymous stream to introduction point. Any one of them can actually be used. A message will be passed. The message may contain the information about herself, or it may not be there. Okay, depending on if the anonymity is desired or not desired by the Alice. Then rendezvous point information will be passed so that the Bob can communicate back. There is a rendezvous cookie which also has to be given. Now start of Diffie-Hellman handshake. This basically means a random number or random string will be picked up. It will be encrypted with the public key of the Bob, and that's what is going to be communicated actually. So this whole thing, the whole message has to be again encrypted with the Bob's public key, and only Bob can decrypt it. So in fact, this here is don't require it. You can actually even do without this thing, because anyway the message itself is also encrypted with the public key. So introduction point will transfer this encrypted message to the Bob. It's actually waiting for the connections to arrive. There is a telescopic tunnel, so there is no way you can identify who the Bob is actually. So now Alice, this tunnel to RP is being maintained. She will create a tunnel to introduction point. Bob has already created the tunnel, so Bob will get the message back. So Bob will now get the rendezvous cookie. Bob will know what is the corresponding RP, okay, and all other information as I mentioned earlier. Now Bob, if actually wants, it can set up the Tor circuit, or it may choose not to do so. So if you get suspicious, don't do it actually. If you are a service provider, you are doing something illegal, you don't have to. You have to protect yourself. Even in certain legal cases, you have to protect yourself from illegal guys who are trying to access your service, and you should not respond in that case. Now that's an open thing, how to guess that when to respond, when not to respond. So paper does not talk about it. So this is an open area for the investigation. So now Bob, if it wants to set up the Tor circuit, It will connect, it will set up a Tor circuit to rendezvous point, again using same telescopic mechanism. It will send a rendezvous cookie. Second half of the Diffie-Hellman handshake, it will simply send a random number and the hash of the key, session key, which it has generated. Okay, so this will be sent to the RP, and RP in turn will, because it's already connected to Alice, so it will transfer all the information to Alice. Now Alice is the only one who can actually get the proper session key. The RP cannot figure it out because RP does not have the first part of the Diffie-Hellman handshake. It only knows the second part. So RP will now connect Alice circuit to the Bob circuit, but it need to do a verification of rendezvous key. So this has to be same from both sides. Okay, if this is not same, the connection will not be done. So RP cannot find who the Alice is, RP cannot find who the Bob is, and what they are exchanging. All three are not known to RP, just becoming a pipe, basically plumber which is connecting the two pipes. So now Alice will send a relay begin to the onion proxy of Bob. Bob will, it will be acting like an exit node for him and directly going to the service. So there is not connecting to the internet. So now Alice and Bob will have an anonymous stream and they can communicate and nobody else will be knowing it. So this is how the anonymous circuits get set up from Alice to Bob. And we have an anonymous service available in the Tor system. So with that, actually, I end the second part of the lecture on Tor. So if you have any questions, I can take them up.
Sir,
yeah.
First question. You said that several number of introduction points will be made by Bob.
Right.
What is the criteria that Bob decides how many introduction points have to be created?
Yeah, this I have not looked into. So currently it is assumed it has to be as large as possible or as few as possible. But so that its service actually should run and Sherwood should be possible, because there is an attack. For example, you want to attack a service, denial of service attack. You actually now attack all the introduction points.
Okay.
So service can be now affected. So in that case, you probably would like to go for a larger number.
But then
larger number of thing, because then denial of service attack will be very difficult.
But then there is, if you go for larger number of introduction points, then there is also a situation that even they will not be able to manage it. But probably Bob, because what I understand is at every introduction point, the cookie is being exchanged, the cookie is again verified, then the telescopic connection is being made.
No,
but
for introduction point, telescopic connection from Bob is all the time exist.
Okay, till the introduction point.
Yeah. So that's for receiving the requests. So Bob to introduction point, telescopic connections are all the time maintained.
Okay, okay.
They are acting like a front end for Bob while knowing who the Bob is.
Sir, then one more question is there. Can you go to slide number 5, which you had covered yesterday, sir?
Okay.
Slide number 5.
This one.
Yes, sir. In this question, every
this is
the previous one. Yes, this one. Slide number 6. Yes,
yeah.
Sir. In this, you had said ki how that circuit is being formed. In this, the second part.
This one is not for the Tor. This one was our own thing, which I thought which can be done for Brahaspati 4.
In this only I had a doubt, because in Tor what is being done is session key is established, then on top of that thing is done. However, where you had given when I was going through, I saw node ID, then public key of C, and then key. This key is what you are providing separately, right?
This key is for encryption of this large message. This message which I have may be very large. Encrypting with public key of B may be a computationally intensive task. So use a symmetric key for doing this. And then symmetric key itself is now being encrypted by the public key.
Okay, in this, the node ID and public key,
Huh.
both of them will be publicly known, is it not?
No, public key and node ID are both are known. But this key can only be retrieved through private key of the B. So only B can do it. So only beacon will get the message this MB.
Okay, just one doubt, sir. In this case, only the key bracket MC, which is there, will be the anonymous part. Rest, the node ID and the public
This MB is the anonymous part. This part is public key is already known. Public key I am not sending here. Public key is already known for the B. Okay. So only this sources need to know the public key, because this public key, this actually shows public key is not the field here. It's a key which is being encrypted by public key. That encrypted key is there actually here. Similarly, this here which I am trying key MB, here the message B encrypted by key. So that this is the encrypted message which is the field here, not the key. So key is here, but key is now being encrypted by public key. So encrypted key is the second field, and first field is node ID.
Sir, okay. On this one more doubt. In Tor, when somebody is connecting, he is being given the details of the circuits, like entry node, second node, and the third router. Basically, the entry node and the next two routers by the centralized directory scheme.
Right.
When you had explained this, I had a doubt key who is going to provide that list here.
In this case, because you are maintaining a routing table because of logarithmic partitioning, so you have already a list of nodes. In addition to that, you will also get a lot of information about various nodes when the neighbor table exchange happen, which does not get updated into routing table, because everything does not go into routing table. You are optimizing that thing constantly. There will be a lot of nodes which does not go into routing table, so you can also maintain another table. So these two tables together, you can use, you will have about 400, 500 nodes in your database, and you can pick up from them. So the sequence which you will choose, see, even if there are 400 nodes, the way you can actually, you will get number of combinations if you pick up 3 nodes is 400 into 399 into 398. So these many possible combinations of circuits are possible even with 3 nodes, which is large. So you can keep on randomly picking up the sequence every time. And this is for every message, you can choose a different sequence here. This is a message-based system.
Got it. Okay.
Because here A and B know each other. That's A and D, the destination and source, both actually know each other, S and D.
Okay. Yes.
So that was the problem. So Tor even does away with that, because that's a circuit switch scenario. They only need to know the circuit path. So backward and forward circuit they need to know. They don't need to know the destination and source addresses.
Got it, sir. Got it. Sir, one more thing which came to my mind while you are showing this is like, can you go to the figure of the introduction points?
Right. This one.
Yes, sir. Now let's say Alice connects to Bob through introduction point. Here it is a very nascent idea, which because I was studying I2P for giving that presentation, and in that we were studying Telenet also, which I had presented. So in both of them, they had used a very simple ideology, which in Tor it is not there. But however, when in case you are developing a system, probably you can think in that line. Like herein, what has been discussed in Tor and what you explained to us was that Alice connects to Bob through one introduction point. Hello.
Right.
One introduction point, and then they keep on exchanging through that from that plumber who creates a joint in between, and then they create this thing. However, if overlaying the idea of I2P in this, so probably the system can be modified further for security, that Alice connects to Bob in one introduction point. The cookies are exchanged. The cookies are verified, and Bob then connects to Alice from a different introduction point.
No, introduction point is only for transferring the information from Alice to Bob. That's it. And then it's all over. Now Bob connects to RP actually. Look into the next figure. So introduction point is never used for communication.
Okay, then Bob connects to Alice from RP.
RP. This is the way the circuit. This blue color line is what is the final circuit which gets created between Alice and Bob. RPs are not here. Sorry.
Oh, got it.
Introduction points are not here.
Okay, got it, sir. Got it.
So introduction point is only the front end so that people can come and connect to the Bob.
Okay, and then they connect back. Well, the Bob then connects back to Alice through RP.
Yeah, for example, is very simple. You are, for example, selling something illegal. Now, in case of introduction point is being used for circuit, introduction points become liable.
Sir.
Now, currently the problem is introduction point cannot be held liable.
Yes, absolutely.
Because the dealing between Bob and Alice is happening through RP. So to protect actually introduction points, because their node IDs are known to everybody, their IP addresses can be figured out.
Sir.
But in this case, RP's IP address is not known to anybody. It's not public. But introduction points are public. They are available in DHT or they are available in directory servers.
Okay, I then I missed out on this RP thing, probably in between. That is why I thought, because keeping the same place will not be correct. So this is very this thing, sir.
Okay. So anybody else has any other question?